Hello my friends, and welcome to the Drunken Celts gaming channel. Now for the second episode of Let's Fight, I'm going to be pitting two of the most iconic fighting games in history against one another. And of course that's Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, the original arcade versions. Now, Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior, to give it its full title, was an absolute revelation when it first hit the arcades back in 1991, and Mortal Kombat caused quite a stir itself with its far more bloody and brutal approach to the budding genre, when it was released the following year, 1992. Now, both games were extremely successful and went on to spawn a franchise of various other games that are still going strong to this very day. So, as always, I'm going to score each game in 10 categories using the same 10-point must scoring system as the UFC, in which 10 points must be awarded to the winner of the round and 9 points or less goes to the loser, except for in that rare even round which is scored a 10-10. So with a possible total of 100 points up for grabs where the high score wins, it's time to put these two legends head to head, and may the best game win. So first up as always, round 1, story. Now you don't really play these games for the story, but there is one nonetheless. Street Fighter basically revolves around a world tournament to see who's the best fighter in the world. Each character has a wee ending, tells you what they're up to, maybe why they did the tournament, what they're doing after it. Ryu, for example, he doesn't wait for a second, he's just like, yes, I'm away looking for my next challenge. The various other ones. Mortal Kombat has got a bit deeper setup. It's a tournament, but this time you're fighting the Netherrealm forces and it's to be the champion. Mortal Kombat defending against Shang Tsung and Goro, the reigning champion who has dominated the competition for 500 years. So this is the Earthrealm's last chance to defend itself. So a little bit deeper again. Mortal Kombat does have all the finishing stories. The wee bits at the end that will tell you a bit about the character. Scorpion, for instance, tells you about how he was cursed and killed by Sub-Zero. It gives you that backstory straight away, so that's pretty good. So when it comes to story, I've got to give the edge to Mortal Kombat. So Mortal Kombat 10, Street Fighter 2 9 for story. So round 2, graphics. Now the graphics in both games, very, very different. Street Fighter obviously has got the more animated style, and Mortal Kombat went for the digitised characters, which, while very impressive back in the day, doesn't really hold up as much today. Also, when you think about the graphics, you've got to think of the designs of all the characters were excellent. Very individual. I mean, apart from obviously Sub-Zero and Scorpion with the same basically uniform, different coloured, but you could say the same about Ryu and Ken. The one thing that does stand out to me a lot better in Street Fighter is all the backgrounds. Now, each character has their own stage, and the detail in these backgrounds and the stages is truly immense, especially for back in the day. Mortal Kombat doesn't have nearly as many. They're all quite, how can I put it, dark, dingy, brutal dungeons and bridges the like. So you've got that, but Street Fighter 2 really does go around the world. So Dalsim's level in Russia, India, then you've got Zangief in Russia, Blanca's level in the Brazil. Brilliant levels, stages and everything. So graphics, I'm afraid it's going to have to be a win for Street Fighter 2 in that one. So coming back out swinging. Round 3, sound effects. Now, sound effects, you can say what you want, right? They're both pretty good. But what if I just said to you, get over here, or Hadouken? I mean, these things, how can you possibly argue which one is better? They're both basically memes of the current generation. They've lasted this long, they're still going strong. So on that basis, I'm going to have to make this round a draw. So when it comes to sound effects, 10 Street Fighter 2, 10 Mortal Kombat. Even we fight we've got going here so far. So round 4, and that's on to music. Now, the music in both games, pretty good. Mortal Kombat, very atmospheric, a lot more kind of techno inspired, whereas Street Fighter 2 really goes with the world themes and the instrumentation, and it also has a lot more varied music tracks. I mean, I can't tell you exactly how many backing music tracks there are in Mortal Kombat, but there's nowhere near as many as in Street Fighter. So when it comes to music, I'm afraid it's going to be a fucking bleaching, a pasting, a 10-8 round to Street Fighter. So that's that. Now we'll move on to gameplay. And gameplay in both games very tight. I mean, Street Fighter 2 basically made the 2D fucking beat 'em up genre, you know, the one-on-one stuff. Actually, an interesting wee fact that this was the first game that people actually used combos, but it came out totally by accident. The developers didn't put that in there on purpose. It was something that the players then figured out later, and that was later adopted into pretty much every fighting game you can think of now has got combos. Mortal Kombat, however, it did bring in the juggling aspect where you could uppercut a guy and then jump up in the air and hit him while he was helpless. That was a new thing, and also Mortal Kombat brought in the death moves, the fatalities, which were, apart from very controversial at the time, utterly satisfying to watch and gratifying, especially if you were that age back then, you know, if you were in your early teens or whatever, or even younger. You used to love that stuff, so you'd never really seen much like that in one of these fighting games. They've always been the kind of cartoony stuff. So when you see the blood spraying, or, you know, Raiden electrocuting, blowing up somebody's head, it was quite cool. So gameplay, I mean, also again, Street Fighter brought in the special moves. Now, you had special moves in other fighting games, but no quite like this, and no quite as varied with all the characters. When it comes down to gameplay as well, I think Street Fighter's just a bit tighter mechanics, a bit, you know, that's why it went on to be the tournament game for so long. So when it comes to gameplay, I'm afraid Street Fighter 2 is edging Mortal Kombat out yet again, so 10-9. Now that brings us on to round 6. Halfway through the fight, we're doing good. Mortal Kombat's got a wee bloody nose here, but that will put them off. Characters is round 6. And what can you say about the characters in both games? I think there's 8 playable characters in Street Fighter. I could probably mention them all for you. So you've got Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, E Honda, Zangief, Dalsim. Oh, who's the other two? Fuck man. Blanka and Guile. Okay. And each one of these characters, apart from Ryu and Ken, all have their own movesets, their own unique look. They didn't have alternate costumes back then, but that became a big thing in the franchise. But they definitely did all have their own gameplay styles, and it was really interesting. I remember back in the day when we used to play in the arcade, if you're used to fighting like the main characters, but when somebody would jump out and be Dalsim against you that actually knew how to play against them, or E Honda for instance, if you got somebody that was really good with them, they could kick your ass in a way that no other guy could, because you're used to playing the more popular characters, which I would say were Guile, you know, Ken, Ryu and Blanka back in the day anyway, certainly in our arcade. Mortal Kombat, again, that's the playable characters in Street Fighter. You've also got your 4 boss characters. So you've got Balrog the boxer, you've got Vega the Spanish guy with the claws, you know, you've also got Sagat, who's basically like a fucking Uber version of Ryu and Ken, and then you've got the man himself, the main boss man, Bison. Now I know the Japanese release of the game had all the names mixed up, and they later changed it just to make sense in tournaments, but that's what I've always known them as, so there we go. But so there you go, you've got 8 playable characters and 4 other characters in Street Fighter 2. Mortal Kombat, it's only got 7 playable characters, but as I said, you could basically say Ken and Ryu are the same guy with a different skin, you know, whereas even although Scorpion and Sub-Zero look the same, they've actually got very different movesets and play quite differently. So Mortal Kombat side, we had Kano, obviously Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Sonya Blade. Who else did we have in the original one? Was it Jax there? Oh, my memory's going now, you'll have to excuse me. But basically, yeah, all iconic characters again, and they were the playable 7, right? So then we also had Goro and Shang Tsung, and there was also a hidden character, Reptile, and you could fight if you done meet certain requirements in a level. So, I mean, all these characters that I've just mentioned all went on to appear in subsequent sequels of the games. Many of them still sticking about to this day. The new Mortal Kombat's coming out, just featured Raiden and Raiden and Scorpion as their kind of promo video for that. Street Fighter's still going strong as well, all those characters, and even more. I mean, Street Fighter did really go nuts after a while, but with so many iterations, what do you expect? Anyway, when it comes to characters, I can't really pick a winner with this. Maybe come down to personal preference, but I think they're all so iconic, they're all still relevant, so I'll go 10-10 on that round. Then we come to value. Now value, as I say, I'm not talking about, oh, is it worth the money? I'm saying, is it worth your time? Do you get enjoyment for what time you put into this game? And the answer is, even today, yes, yes, yes. Both these games still play reasonably well, and I'm sure you'll have a good time. You playing it with friends, playing against a computer, whatever you want to do. Nothing better than if you could find an old arcade cabinet and get in about that. That's the way the game's meant to be played and why it caused such a stir. So again, value, I can't really distinguish these two, so that'll be 10 to Street Fighter 2, 10 to Mortal Kombat. Now, that brings us to difficulty. Now, both games can be really hard to complete the campaigns. I remember I used to always get to the boxer, no bother. Maybe beat him, and then Vega would kind of give me problems. But I did complete Street Fighter and the puggies. Mortal Kombat, however, I didn't complete that in the arcades at all until it wasn't until I got the home console version I managed to complete that. Because that the tower structure where you fought everyone, then you fought the mirror match with yourself, then you fought 3 endurance matches, which you had to basically take out 2 fighters with 1 energy bar. After you've done that, you then fight Goro, who's like a fucking super steroid monster freak with 6 arms. Or is it 4 arms? 6 arms? 4 arms? 4 arms, I think. Aye. Anyway, the guy's fucking brutal. I remember the first time I ever seen him in the arcade and I just couldn't get by him. Could not get by him. Didn't even know Shang Tsung was after that. So, Mortal Kombat, I would say, is the more difficult of the two. Obviously, you can ramp up the difficulty, but I'm talking about just when you put it on the arcade, you put your credit in, how far you're going to get. I'd say Mortal Kombat's a bit harder. But, again, it's all up for debate. So on that one, round 8 difficulty, Street Fighter 2, 9, Mortal Kombat 10. And that brings us on to round 9. How do they hold up today? Well, as I said before, even though the digitised graphics looked really good back in the day, it was something totally modern and fresh, it doesn't hold up half as well as the graphics of Street Fighter. However, your gameplay in both of them hold up pretty good. A lot of people will say Street Fighter's maybe a bit tighter, but it's kind of different, you know. As I say, Mortal Kombat's got things that you can't do in Street Fighter and vice versa, and they both do what they do really well, if that makes sense. They added things with the fatalities. I mean, today you've seen much brutaler versions of all these fatalities, but it's a nice wee thing to have in that game, that wee ending thing, just to rub it in your opponent's face when you beat them at the end of the match. So how do they both hold up today? I'm going to cop out in this one and go 10-10 again, and that brings us to the very last round, and it's fucking tight, man. It's tight, it's neck and neck going in to round 10, secrets. Now, secrets, what secrets are there in Street Fighter 2? Can anybody tell me? I think it was more the moves back then were the secrets in Street Fighter 2, you know, learning how to do your Hadouken, your fucking Dragon Punch, all the rest of it. Mortal Kombat, pretty much the same, except, would you call the fatalities secrets, or are these just moves that you need to learn again? This is back before the internet, so you couldn't even just fucking hit your phone and find out what the finishing moves were. And I remember in the arcades when you used to see somebody do one of these moves, it was like, whoa, what the hell's this guy all about? Man, he's mental. You know, the same when folk used to kick your ass in Street Fighter 2 with the different characters, but yeah, I can't think of any other real secrets in either game, apart from Mortal Kombat did have the reptile fight, where if you did something, I can't remember exactly what you had to do, but you fulfilled a certain amount of things in a certain level, and you would be transported to fight Reptile, which was like a green looking Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And back, although he did get his original moves in later games, back then he had both moves of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And if you ever hit him by accident like what we did back in the day, this blew your mind. You're like, who the fuck is this guy? We've never heard of this guy. So secrets, it's got to go to Mortal Kombat. So Street Fighter 2 9, Mortal Kombat 10. So there we go. We'll need to go to the judges' scorecard now to see who's the winner. And it's fucking tight yet again. Only 1 point in it. Street Fighter 2 coming out with a total of 97 against Mortal Kombat's 96. So a very close match there. And Mortal Kombat, sorry mate, you're a runner-up. Street Fighter 2 is the icon. It is the legend. And quite rightly wins this if you ask me. Very tight, yes, but good battle nonetheless. Street Fighter takes it. So that's my take on the battle. You can let me know if you agree in the comments below, and also what other 2 games or gaming characters would you like to see square up in the next one. Till then, happy gaming, and I'll see you later. Catch you. The views expressed in this programme do not represent the view of the Drunken Kilt gaming channel, who reserve the right to brutally beat Baltic within an inch of his life at the first sign of an angry Ed Boon.